Tonight, another Trump administration plan delayed. A judge is temporarily blocking the president from putting more than 2,000 USAID employees on leave. It was set to happen at midnight tonight. It comes as President Trump makes new comments on the proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza. And Elon Musk asks his followers about a Doge member who resigned over racist posts. Plus, the third major flying incident in just 10 days, a plane disappearing along Alaska's west coast, just south of the Arctic Circle. It lost contact with 10 people on board. And
I remember messaging his office because he had like an office text line, and I said, hey, something's wrong. Like, what do I do about this? Do I need to go to the doctor and like get treated? And he said, no, just like put a cold compress on it.
Botox is not just for the rich and famous, but as it's gone mainstream, so have the fakes. The dangerous consequences of counterfeit treatments. Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are going to begin with a federal judge blocking the Trump administration's plan to put 2,200 USAID workers on leave at midnight. This comes after crews were spotted covering up the USAID signs in front of the headquarters in Washington. Democrats say moving to shut down the agency is illegal, and the court case the judge heard today is just one of the many legal challenges to early moves in the Trump administration. And out of the White House today, President Trump defending Elon Musk's role in the administration. The president pressed about Time magazine's image of Musk sitting behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. And 24 hours after one of Musk's Doge members resigned over racist posts, and after Musk crowdsourced whether or not he should be allowed to return, he's back. And moments ago, we just learned President Trump says he plans to block former President Joe Biden from receiving access to classified information. Our Rachel Scott leads us off tonight from the White House.
Even as the signs outside the USAID's office came down, tonight a federal judge putting the brakes on the White House's plan to put more than 2,000 of the relief agency's workers on leave. It comes as Elon Musk and his team gutted the agency, which has provided desperately needed food and medicine to some 32 million children around the world. Tonight, President Trump pressed to explain the limits of Musk's power as the world's richest man extends his reach across the federal government. The new Time magazine cover showing Musk behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
A much different tone from when Time recently named him Person of the Year.
It's been an honor, and every time it's an honor, I will tell you.
Musk's team has already gained access to at least 10 federal agencies. 2 million federal workers already receiving emails like this one. The subject line, fork in the road, the same one he used when he was slashing the workforce at Twitter. The offer, resign now and be paid through September or run the risk of being laid off. Across the country from Wisconsin to Nevada to Washington, protests popping up. Signs like this reading, let's send Elon to Mars. But tonight, the president saying he wants Musk to go even further, instructing him to tackle the Pentagon's sprawling bureaucracy, though companies Musk owns have had $5.6 billion in contracts with the agency.
Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence or something. And I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
And tonight, the president asked about a young engineer on Musk's team. The Wall Street Journal reporting he resigned because of racist online posts the paper uncovered, including, quote, I was racist before it was cool. You cannot pay me to marry outside my ethnicity and normalize Indian hate. Vice President J.D. Vance writing on X, I obviously disagree with some of his posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life, so I say bring him back.
The vice president says bring him back. What do you say?
Well, I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president.
And tonight, Musk posting he will be brought back. To err is human, to forgive divine. In an extended news conference alongside the Prime Minister of Japan, the president also asked today about whether he plans to fire the FBI agents who worked on cases of those who rioted on January 6.
Are you planning to fire the FBI agents who worked on those investigations?
No, but I'll fire some of them because some of them were corrupt. I have no doubt about that. I got to know a lot about that business, that world. I got to know a lot about that world, and we had some corrupt agents, and those people are gone, or they will be gone, and it'll be done quickly and very surgically.
And Rachel joins us now from the White House. Rachel, there's some more breaking news tonight coming from the White House concerning access to classified information. What have you learned?
Yeah, this is just coming in here, Phil, tonight at the White House. President Donald Trump posting on social media. He says that he's revoking the security clearance of former President Joe Biden, saying that he will now be stopping any intelligence briefings and cutting off all access to any classified information. In the social media posts, the president says that the former president cannot be trusted, Phil.
All right, Rachel Scott from the White House. Rachel, thank you. We want to talk a little bit more about that. ABC News contributor and former CIA agent Daryl Blocker joins me now. Daryl, thanks for taking the time. In his post on Truth Social, President Trump does point out that this was what President Biden did to him in 2021 on the heels of an insurrection. But what normally happens in a situation like this?
So, Phil, typically what happens is there's no question that the former presidents have all been given the same rights as everyone else. I do believe when Biden made that decision, there was questions about his access, as in Trump's access and continued holding of classified information. That investigation was going on. But the revoking his clearances, the president doesn't have a clearance, just like members of Congress don't have to have a clearance in order to have access to that information. So that little tidbit was more for his base than anything else.
Why would it be important for a former president to receive or have access to this material?
Well, quite frankly, there's a lot of things that really don't fit themselves into 4-year blocks of oversight. So there'll be some things that happened under his administration that he would more than likely want to keep track of, or at least be back briefed on. So it's not imperative that any former president have access to classified information. They can still get very robust briefings. They can still get down to the granular without talking about sources and methods. And at the end of the day, that's what intelligence personnel are most concerned about, whether there's anything that's being briefed that might reveal the person behind it or the means in which that information was gathered.
Yeah, and also back in the day before this recent spat of politics, presidents relied on former presidents for advice. That hasn't happened so much over the last few elections. But what about Biden's Secret Service protection? The president didn't say anything about that. Where does that come from? Every president gets it.
I would think that it would be much more difficult and much more controversial for him to try to pull the security detail for President Biden. It's never been done before. I can't imagine that he would want to do that now, because what's going to stop the next president from doing the same to him? So I think he will restrict himself to classified information, or when he's talking about clearances, and not mess with the president's security.
All right, Daryl Blocker, good to have you. Thanks for the conversation. A passenger plane that had vanished in Alaska has been found. The Coast Guard finding the plane 35 miles southeast of Nome, where it was headed. At least 3 bodies were found inside the wreckage. 10 people had been on board. The FAA says the plane, operated by Bering Air, was flying over the Bering Sea. Flight data shows a drop in altitude before all contact was suddenly lost. This is the 3rd major aviation incident in just 9 days. ABC's Trevor Ault with more.
Tonight, after a desperate search, the Coast Guard says they've located an aircraft matching the description of the missing passenger plane that vanished over open water in Alaska with 10 people on board. Authorities releasing this image of mangled wreckage. They say 3 bodies were found inside. The Bering Air single-engine Cessna took off from Unalakleet shortly after 2:30 Thursday afternoon, headed for Nome. But about 40 minutes into the flight, the plane disappearing from radar over the Norton Sound, about 12 miles from shore.
Low altitude alert, bearing air 445. Check your altitude immediately.
Seconds later,
Bearing air 445, Anchorage Center, radar contact lost.
This aircraft experienced some kind of event which caused them to experience a rapid loss in elevation and a rapid loss in speed.
this time-lapse video from hours after the plane vanished shows snowy conditions at the Nome airport where the plane was headed. ATC telling the pilot the runway was temporarily closed as the plane approached.
One of the things that the NTSB will look at, was there a problem? Did the aircraft ice up, and did that lead to a loss of control?
It's the third major aviation incident in just over a week. Last Wednesday, 67 people killed in that mid-air crash between an Army helicopter and an American Airlines plane in Washington, D.C. In the last 24 hours, crews lifting the Black Hawk out of the river amid reports a key safety system was turned off before the collision. Last Friday, a medical transport jet crashing in Philadelphia, killing 7 people in all. Voice recorder found 8 feet deep inside that crater.
And Trevor joins us now. Trevor, what more do we know about the location of this aircraft and the aircraft itself?
Well, Phil, we have heard from the Coast Guard that this was potentially spotted as they had a clue overhead from a different aircraft once this search was underway. And the Coast Guard now says that this wreckage was located 34 miles southeast of Nome, which was its intended destination. Now, as for this kind of aircraft, you see in that image from the Coast Guard all the snow and ice there. FAA data does show this kind of plane has a history of icing problems, dozens of incidents going back to the 1980s, Phil.
All right, Trevor all tonight. Trevor, thank you.
Thank you.
A major cross-country storm is moving into the Northeast this weekend, bringing heavy snow and ice to several states. Meteorologist Lee Goldberg of our New York station WABC joins me now. Lee, good to see you. What's coming our way?
Phil, every time we speak, our hometown's about to get slammed with a storm, and that's what happens again as we go through the weekend. That storm right now is in the upper Midwest. We have winter weather alerts from the northern Rockies all the way into the Northeast. Tonight, it's really the upper Midwest. Minneapolis is going to get a few inches of snow, and then that snow is going to move into the Great Lakes tomorrow, a few inches, and then we have a wintry mix from the Ohio Valley to the Mid-Atlantic. But then the storm strengthens, and we start to break out with some snow along the I-95 corridor. By evening, icy mix across parts of Pennsylvania, and the heaviest snow, it's tomorrow night. The Brent from the Hudson Valley of New York all the way into New England. It'll wind down by early Sunday morning. We could see upwards of 6 to 12 inches of snow anywhere from northeast to Scranton, Albany, Portland, maybe just to Boston or on its northwest side. A few inches here in New York, and very concerned about the icy mix across parts of southern Pennsylvania along I-76. A quarter of an inch of ice possible. There are ice storm warnings near Johnstown. This storm will move away. A breather Monday. More storminess Tuesday through Thursday. Phil?
Yeah, all right. We'll have to get back to it. Lee Goldberg, thanks so much. Next tonight, the bird flu outbreak spreading across the U.S. New York's governor shutting down live poultry markets in New York City, that area, after detecting multiple bird infections. It comes as the CDC reports the worst human flu season in 15 years. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
In a move to stop the spread of bird flu, the governor of New York today ordering the shutdown of all live poultry markets across New York City, Long Island, and Westchester County for disinfection after inspections detected 7 cases at markets in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens.
There is no immediate public health threat. We have been vigilant and will remain vigilant so New Yorkers can go about their lives with peace of mind.
In just the last month, 22 million poultry have been impacted by bird flu across the country, including 100,000 ducks euthanized on this Long Island farm. Parks from New York to Boston have also closed to the public after the virus killed wild birds.
To have 10 or 12 dead geese is something wrong.
There still has been no human-to-human spread of bird flu. 67 people have been infected in the U.S., and most had direct contact with sick animals. But scientists are closely tracking the spread after a different strain was just confirmed in Nevada dairy cattle. It's the same strain found in an older man from Louisiana, the only American who has died from bird flu.
This is the fear of anybody in public health. When you have a virus that's spreading rapidly in animal populations, it increases the chances for mutations and increases that chance of this virus moving into a place where it is human-to-human transmissible.
Phil, there are about 80 live poultry markets like the one behind me impacted by this temporary shutdown. New York State hasn't had any confirmed human cases of bird flu, but the governor says they are taking action to stop the spread of the virus. Phil.
All right, Stephanie Ramos. Stephanie, thank you. A suspect has been arrested in connection with the death of a reporter who had been in New Orleans to cover the Super Bowl. Police say she was caught using his stolen credit card. It comes as authorities release new images of suspects charged with breaking into the home of Bengals star Joe Burrow, allegedly posing with his stolen watches and jewelry. Here's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, a sports reporter covering the Super Bowl is dead, and a woman with an alleged history of drugging men is under arrest. Officials accusing Danette Colbert of using the credit card of Adon Manzano after he was found dead in his hotel room. The 27-year-old had traveled to New Orleans to cover the Super Bowl for a Kansas City Telemundo affiliate.
Ms. Colbert has quite a record and rap sheet for confidence games. Ms. Colbert's criminal history does include 2 instances where she drugged a victim.
Police say Colbert and Manzano were seen entering his room at this hotel around 4:30 Wednesday morning. She left about 90 minutes later and never returned.
You asked if this was a homicide. I don't know where it's going to end up. Like I said, we're going to let the evidence lead us to the end result and not speculate.
Telemundo releasing this image of Manzano, calling his death tragic and adding Manzano was a true professional and a rising star who exemplified excellence in his work. This year's Super Bowl follows a rash of burglaries targeting the homes of several pro football players, including Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. He was robbed in December while playing Monday Night Football in Dallas.
Where are you going right now?
The FBI now saying the men seen inside this vehicle are also captured in this photo, posing with some of the items stolen from Burrow's home, including designer luggage, wristwatches, even custom jewelry depicting Burrow's initials and jersey number. Investigators say they also found this picture of Burrow's Cincinnati house on the phone of one of the suspects. And Phil, tonight the FBI is announcing a new crackdown on South American theft groups that they say have been targeting the athletes and other wealthy homeowners across the country. Some of what's been stolen has turned up in Chile and in China. The FBI says it found more of the loot at a pawn shop right here in New York City. Phil.
Senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky. Aaron, thank you. A SEPTA train went up in flames on its way from Philadelphia to Wilmington, Delaware. There were 350 passengers on board the 6-car train at the time. A spokesperson for SEPTA, which stands for Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, says they don't know how the fire started, just that it happened underneath the train. The train was evacuated, no injuries reported. There's still much more to get to here tonight on Prime. Coming up, even if you're not a big football fan, there is still plenty to see during Sunday's Super Bowl, from the halftime show to the ads, the moments we are anticipating. But next, as the number of people seeking Botox treatment grows, so does the risk of counterfeit doses, the serious and lasting side effects they've already caused.
If you have Botox that's counterfeit but it's too strong, you could get botulism, and it can cause all sorts of side effects in your body where the nerves are being paralyzed.
People do not know how to date. That's why they come to us.
As a matchmaker, we're here to help you get your wings on.
Let's get some people married. Why are you single?
Maybe the kind of guys that I go for.
You go for hot guys.
Yeah.
It's a pitfall.
What would you say are like the top things you're looking for?
You don't like hairy men, so all Muslims are out. What are you talking about?
This process doesn't have to suck.
Woo!
He's cute.
Make it happen, boo.
Hip-hop has never seen a beef quite like this.
This story is about Kendrick and Drake.
Kendrick Lamar is having the best week ever. Drake,
he's just a perennial hit maker. The guy doesn't miss.
They both wanted the throne, and something happened.
Bring it on.
If you want to put it into perspective, it's the equivalent of Bill Gates and Elon Musk fist fighting.
Kendrick versus Drake, The Feud, now streaming on Hulu.
Isabella Strahan.
It's been rough, it's been challenging, and it's been very hard, but I know I'll get through it.
Life Interrupted.
The first thing that went through my mind was, this must be a mistake.
You don't really think the worst until you get told the worst. I'm not
Love and that support really helped her pull through. I'm very proud of her.
This weekend, streaming on ABC News Live.
If you're the most followed person on all of YouTube and you almost never do interviews, where do you come first?
All right, GMA interview. This will be fun.
GMA next week.
350 million YouTube subscribers. #1 show on Amazon Prime. You're 26. How did this all come to be?
Mr. Beast tells all.
Oh, boy.
So what does he now want you to know about his Beast empire, his personal life, and what's next?
Let's do it.
Next week, only on
Good Morning America.
It was a kidnapping, torture case.
A crime of greed and cruelty.
The men tortured the victim by beating, tasing, and burning him.
And this is where it gets really horrible. The guy was cutting off my roommates. It was like a bad dream.
This crime was horrific.
He's a psychopath.
How could you possibly defend somebody like that?
This was a story about greed, sadism, evil.
Wicked Game, Devil in the Desert, only on Hulu.
Get this, people. Now we're streaming every weekend right to you. With an all-new show and all-new View, special for the weekends. Now you can catch The View 7 days a week.
I wonder if you can handle it.
It's The Weekend View. The Weekend View.
It's The Weekend View. Streaming on ABC News Live, wherever you stream. Take a little time to enjoy The Weekend View.
See you on the weekend!
Now streaming Saturday and Sunday mornings on ABC News Live, wherever you stream.
Welcome back. Botox is no longer just for the rich and famous who don't want to get wrinkles. It's gone mainstream, but so have the fakes. Counterfeit Botox is appearing from coast to coast now, and it can be dangerous. Juju Chang with more.
On Instagram, this med spa promised clients radiant skin, friendly service, even a machine that they said could give toned abs. And for many patients, the hope for a fountain of youth. But now prosecutors accuse this man, Joey Grant Luther, of injecting clients with counterfeit Botox, causing ailments from double vision to botulism. Henry Callender, who's not part of the criminal complaint, thought he was getting a smooth forehead for a fraction of the normal price.
It's like a very handsome, a lot of work done to him.
But instead, Henry says he ended up with what he says was an allergic reaction.
So I got injected and I had this kind of blow up. Looked like a giant bee sting, considering what I've heard from other people and reading some of these complaints. I definitely got off easy and I was lucky to have this reaction as the only reaction.
This week, the 54-year-old Luther was arrested and charged with wire fraud, smuggling, and crimes related to the handling of counterfeit drugs.
Do you have anything to say?
WABC filmed the esthetician walking into his building after he was released on bail. What once was stigmatized by some has gone mainstream. Almost 5 million Americans got Botox in 2023, according to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons.
I think I saw the biggest uptick in requests for Botox during the pandemic. When we were sitting at home during the pandemic, people were really glued to their cell phones, and they were really diving into social media.
And as more and more Americans are getting Botox, counterfeit Botox is popping up across the country.
My eyes were swollen and they were beet red, and it has not gone away to this day.
That's what happened to Lori Reed in California, who says this is what she looked like hours after getting injections of what she thought were real Botox and filler.
At first, I felt stupid. I felt like, how did I miss this? I felt like I looked like a monster.
Back in New York, prosecutors claim Luther didn't even have the required state medical license to give Botox in the first place.
It does vary state by state. In New York State, you have to be a doctor, so a physician, a surgeon, a dentist, a nurse practitioner, a nurse, or a physician assistant to legally practice Botox.
The complaint alleges one victim began experiencing double vision, heart palpitations, and slurring of speech after visiting 3 hospitals. The complaint also says she was diagnosed with botulism toxin, a potentially fatal illness. When this client allegedly texted Luther about her symptoms, the complaint claims that Luther falsely responded that he injected Botox from Allergan, the name brand.
If you're getting something that's actually not Botox, no one knows is actually what is going into that mixture. If you have Botox that's counterfeit but it's too strong, you could get botulism, and that can cause all sorts of side effects in your body where the nerves are being paralyzed.
Text messages included in the complaint appears to show Luther responding to many of his clients' concerns. In one instance, a client texted Luther in part, "I'm nervous, re my vision. It's been getting worse each day." And he allegedly reassured her, "It's very temporary." Another client texted him, "I have also started having a hard time swallowing. I have headaches, and it's hard to lift my head when I'm laying down. Have you heard of this reaction?" to which he allegedly responded, "The neck fatigue and headaches sound more like a virus."
While Luther is being messaged by his clients and telling them about the various side effects they're having, the lazy eye, the double vision, the botulism, law enforcement shows that while he says to his clients, just put an ice pack on it or come back in a few days and we'll resolve it, he's also messaging his supplier and informing them that the product is tainted and list out some of those adverse reactions that his client's getting. He, in fact, tries to bargain with his supplier, suggesting that if they want to keep him as a client, they need to send better product and send it quickly.
Henry Callender, who hasn't spoken to law enforcement, was first drawn to Luther's office, he says, to treat acne on his forehead.
One of my friends went there. They recommend him. It's a good place to go. I hadn't heard any side effect stories, actually, until after the fact.
Despite the office having no med spa signage out front, Callender thought the office looked normal enough.
You walk into this office space, but it looks exactly like, a regular office. He had a room where he just administered Botox. He had Allergan, like the Botox boxes for like the legal for like, one of the main brands. And you're just assuming that this guy is, doing the correct thing.
Plus, Callender said the treatment was a cheaper option.
He was like slightly cheaper. It was probably like 20% cheaper than regular Botox. It was probably like $400 a treatment.
Botox is pretty expensive for a practice to take on. So if the price point seems too good to be true, probably is.
Henry went to Luther a number of times for more than a year and experienced no issues. But he says there was one treatment that stands out.
I went to his office and he administered Botox, kind of like the normal treatment. And I had this like really big blow up on my forehead. It was like that for about 24 to 48 hours. And I remember messaging his office because he had like an office text line. And I said, hey, something's wrong. Like, what do I do about this? Do I need to go to the doctor and like get treated? And he said, no, just like put a cold compress on it.
An attorney representing Luther did not respond to requests for comment. But Henry says he's grateful he made it out without any severe health consequences. According to prosecutors, others were not so lucky. In December, the CDC issued a notice after more than a dozen people were hospitalized across the country.
The CDC said that 17 people across 9 states suffered similar reactions to tainted or counterfeit Botox from people who either had licenses and did not administer the right product or people who had no licenses at all.
Lori Reed says this is what she looked like before she went to see a woman she thought was a nurse for Botox and filler.
I'm a woman. I was getting older. I wanted Botox. I wanted to try what everybody was talking about.
She went to a woman named Susan Tancredo for a few years and said sometimes the Botox worked, sometimes it didn't seem to, but the price was right. Nothing would prepare her for what was to come.
My eyes were swollen and they were beet red, and it has not gone away to this day. So I text her and I said, what is wrong with my eyes? I just washed my face.
It has been several years and Lori is still dealing with the consequences, getting several procedures to try and reverse the damage.
For a while, I was very self-conscious. I wouldn't even date, so that sounds silly, but it did mess with me for a while because I felt like I looked in the mirror, and every time I looked in the mirror, I was just hideous. I felt like I looked like a monster.
According to a civil complaint filed by 16 different women, Tancredo was never licensed to inject Botox. She would purchase products from one doctor and counterfeit products from other countries. The suit has since been settled. She was ultimately found guilty in a criminal case and is serving probation after her 6-year prison sentence was suspended.
I wanted her to reap some sort of consequences for the damage that she had done. I expected her to do jail time. It turned out that she did not. So I was a little disappointed in that.
Back in New York, Luther's out on bail, but if this goes to trial and he's found guilty, he could face decades in prison.
After his indictment, Luther was released on a $100,000 bail with some requirements, wearing an ankle monitor as well as forfeiting his passport. And we'll see whether or not Luther decides to take a plea or move this case towards a trial. His next court date is February 12th.
Our thanks to Juju Chang. Still ahead here on Prime, the FAA review into all high-traffic airports just 1 week after that deadly mid-air collision in D.C. Plus, from the biggest stars taking the field to the potential historic outcomes, just how much will it cost to be there as well? What we need to know about the upcoming Super Bowl by the numbers.
Isabella Strahan.
It's been rough, it's been challenging, and it's been very hard, but I know I'll get through it.
Life Interrupted.
The first thing that went through my mind was, this must be a mistake.
You don't really think the worst until you get told the worst. I'm not gonna cry.
Love and that support really helped her pull through. I'm very proud of her.
This weekend, streaming on ABC News Live.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia. We're in artillery position about 2 miles away from Gaza.
And ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Traveling with the president to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Here in London today.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii. Some areas are still smoldering.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, the ruins of Rafah.
From the FBI.
Reporting from Capitol Hill.
In western Portugal. Outside of Mexico City.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Here in France.
The eclipse across America.
Just stunning.
Unbelievable.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere because the news never stops.
People do not know how to date. That's why they come to us.
As a matchmaker, we're here to help you get your wings on.
Let's get some people married. Why are you single? Maybe the kind of guys that I go for. You go for hot guys? Yeah. It's a pitfall.
What would you say are like the top things you're looking for?
You don't like hairy men, so all Muslims are out. What are you talking about?
This process doesn't have to suck. He's cute.
Make it happen, boo.
Mr. President?
You were the last person to see the president alive.
He was trying to warn me.
Agent Collins, you're the only one I really trust. And I want to tell you the truth. You're about to be entrusted with top secret information.
The president did something. You're going to want to hear this.
The biggest secret is right under your nose.
What aren't you telling me?
It was a kidnapping, torture case.
A crime of greed and cruelty.
The men tortured the victim by beating, tasing, and burning him.
And this is where it gets really horrible. The guy was cutting off my roommates. It was like a bad dream.
This crime was horrific.
He's a psychopath.
How could you possibly defend somebody like that?
This was a story about greed, sadism, evil.
Wicked Game, Devil in the Desert, only on Hulu.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene
Screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live. Right there. As events unfold across the day.
Breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops. I'm Aaron Katursky at the Trump Building on Wall Street. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. Super Bowl Sunday is right around the corner, and it will be a rematch from 2023 between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams have franchise and league records on the line this Sunday. Here's everything you need to know about the big game by the numbers. The Chiefs are trying for an unprecedented three-peat. No NFL team has won the Super Bowl 3 years in a row consecutively. The Eagles will try to avenge their 38-35 loss to the Chiefs. That was in 2023. Star players you need to know about, number 15 right there, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes at age 29. He's already won 3 Super Bowls. For the Philadelphia Eagles, number 26, Saquon Barkley, has turned in an all-time season for a running back. He's just 30 yards short of the most rushing yards ever in a regular season in playoffs by a running back. That is is impressive. As for the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar and his 22 Grammy Awards will take the stage. Lamar's hit song, Not Like Us, won 5 Grammys Sunday, including Record and Song of the Year. And if you're still trying to see the big game, average ticket price is north of $6,600 right now. That's according to TickPick, but that's significantly less than last year's Super Bowl. For those watching from the comfort of their couch, Americans are expected to spend more than $670 million on snacks for the big game. And as we mentioned, it's less than 48 hours away now, and but it's not just the big football game that everybody's watching for. It's also the companies and the big commercials we see as well. So here to tell us more about the biggest commercials of the year is Zoe Ruderman, Chief Content Officer for Adweek and host of Best of Big Game Commercials on Roku. Zoe, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. We were talking a little bit before you came on about a commercial I've seen, but what are the big ones this year that are setting up?
Listen, people are really excited as always about the celebrity commercials. So we talked about the Mountain Dew one. There are a lot of beer commercials that people are excited for, and there's some newcomers to the space. So one of the few ads that we haven't seen in its entirety is the OpenAI ad. It's the first time they're in the Super Bowl. People have no idea what to expect, but it could get really interesting. We also saw a teaser for the Dunkin' ad. You and I are both from Boston. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm really excited for that one.
Is this with Ben Affleck and they're doing a new version?
Casey Affleck. It's the Dun Kings, but we know this one has Jeremy Strong, who's actually in on the joke and is making fun of his own method acting.
That's awesome.
I appreciate when a celeb is in on the joke, so I'm excited to see that one.
Okay, and I'm wondering, like with streaming and everything, when we were growing up, it was the Super Bowl commercials and everybody had to be quiet. Is it still that with streaming and the way we can watch things? Are the commercials still that important?
It is 100% still that, and it shows no signs of changing.
Really?
This is the one moment left out of the entire year in this country where people come together, they watch live, and I would argue it's the one moment where they're not trying to get past the ads. They're not fast forwarding, they're not walking away, nobody's taking bathroom breaks. If anything, they're doing that during the game. People are there to watch the commercials, and frankly, that's why brands spend so much on it.
I get a little annoyed when people talk during Super Bowl commercials, especially in the first quarter, right? Like that's you want to see these.
Yeah.
And it's always the one that you don't think about. That's the sleeper commercial that comes up at the end and everybody's talking about. You were talking about price and sort of if money is the answer to my question, is it still worth it? What is it, $8 million for a 30
million. Yeah.
$8 million for a 30-second spot.
So $8 million just for the airtime for 30 seconds. Keep in mind that some brands are doing 60 seconds or they're doing multiple spots, like 3 or 4. That also doesn't include the cost of the talent. So it can easily be north of 10, 15 million. Yeah, the creative, the agency, all of that. So this is a huge spend for CMOs.
I'm just wondering if it's partly a flex for these companies or they're actually getting back some of the money they spend with new customers. I just don't know.
I don't think anyone is allowed to spend at any brand $8 million just as a flex. I don't know what your brand is like, but my brand would not let me do that.
Right?
It has to show returns.
It has to.
And so there's a reason why many brands come back year after year after year and continue to spend the money even as it increases. It was $7 million last year, up by another $1 million. They're like, sign me up, give me the 30 seconds. It's worth it. You have that captive audience. It's a huge audience that cuts across a wide array of demographics. People are tuned in, and if you release the spot early or do teases, you get that halo effect on social media. You can trend on X, so there's more than just the eyeballs during the game, but clearly brands find it to be worth it because they spend their budget on that.
All right, well, from where we're from, go Patriots.
Exactly.
I keep saying that, but they're not in it this year. Thank you so much. It doesn't matter. It never matters to a Patriots fan. There's much more ahead here on Prime tonight. The inspiring story of a Chiefs coach who almost didn't make it to this day, and our conversation with JoJo, who's dishing out all the details on her newest project. Stay with us.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia. We're in artillery position about 2 miles away from Gaza.
And ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Traveling with the president to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Here in London today.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii. Some areas are still smoldering.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, the ruins of Rafah. From the FBI.
Reporting from Capitol Hill.
In western Portugal, outside of Mexico City.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Here in France,
The eclipse across America.
just stunning.
Unbelievable.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is,
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere because the news never stops.
Freeze Morgan Guillory Major Crimes.
Where did you get this?
Check out at the dollar store.
You hired me because I noticed things that you miss.
Let's solve this case.
Bingo. Our killer's name is Dubois.
Did you just Google who's the killer on your phone, Morgan?
No, I did not do that.
Hip-hop has never seen a beef quite like this.
This story is about Kendrick and Drake.
Kendrick Lamar is having the best week ever. Drake,
he's just a perennial hit maker. The guy doesn't miss.
they both wanted the throne, and something happened.
Bring it on.
if you want to put it into perspective, it's the equivalent of Bill Gates and Elon Musk fist fighting.
Kendrick versus Drake, The Feud, now streaming on Hulu. If you're the most followed person on all of YouTube and you almost never do interviews, where do you come first?
All right, GMA interview. This will be fun.
GMA next week.
350 million YouTube subscribers. #1 show on Amazon Prime. You're 26. How did this all come to be?
Mr. Beast tells all.
Oh, boy.
So what does he now want you to know about his Beast empire, his personal life, and what's next?
Let's do it.
Next week, only on
Good Morning America.
Isabella Strahan.
It's been rough, it's been challenging, and it's been very hard, but I know I'll get through it.
Life Interrupted.
The first thing that went through my mind was, this must be a mistake.
You don't really think the worst until you get told the worst. I'm not gonna cry.
Love and that support really helped her pull through. I'm very proud of her.
This weekend, streaming on ABC News Live.
Welcome back. Did a toxic spill turn a river in Argentina red? Local residents want answers. The FAA broadens its investigation into airports with high air traffic nationwide, and the rather unpleasant discovery in a backyard mulch pile. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
The new jobs report is out, and employers added 143,000 jobs to the workforce in January.
That was fewer than expected, and it marks a slowdown from the very strong 307,000 jobs in December.
The industries where the most jobs were added last month are healthcare, retail, and social work. Overall, the job market is in solid shape with unemployment at 4% and layoffs relatively low. However, it is taking workers longer to find a job than just a couple of months ago. The FAA has been restricting helicopter traffic over the Potomac River around Reagan National Airport since the day after the fatal crash between an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter. But the agency is now broadening its investigation into several other airports that have a high volume of mixed traffic of helicopters and airplanes. They want to determine all potential risks nationwide. A river in Buenos Aires, Argentina, turned an intense red on Thursday, alarming residents who suspected a toxic spill could be to blame. Authorities collected water samples from the river, which borders an ecological reserve, and opened an investigation. Officials suspect a toxic chemical called aniline, used in dyes and medicine, could be the cause. Residents reported the stream has changed colors before and that they've filed numerous complaints since the 1990s. Amazon removed references to inclusion and diversity in its annual report filed Thursday after it told employees it was winding down the program. The company also cut a reference to its goal to, quote, promote equity. Many American businesses have been scaling back diversity initiatives since President Trump and his administration started targeting DEI policies. The National Collegiate Athletic Association's Board of Governors voted to update the association's participation policy for student athletes, now allowing only those assigned female at birth to participate in women's competitions. However, student athletes assigned male at birth will still be allowed to practice with women's teams and receive benefits like medical care while practicing. The decision follows President Trump's executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. A homeowner found more than 100 venomous red-bellied black snakes in the mulch pile of his Sydney backyard. He called a reptile relocation service that then captured 102 pregnant and newborn snakes. Experts say it's possible that extraordinarily hot weather in Australia triggered the birthing of so many snakes in the same spot. These venomous snakes are a protected species in Australia, so the snake catchers got permission to release them into a national park.
Chart-topping and multi-platinum recording artist Joanna Levac, better known as JoJo, rose to fame at the young age of 13. More than 2 decades after that, she is now a New York Times best-selling author, which is really cool, who's appeared in films, TV shows, and Broadway. But holding on to her musical roots, she's out now with her 7th studio EP, NGL. Take a listen.
Sometimes I feel like I'm working too hard and chasing these racks is irrational. Relationships used to be magical.
JoJo, I'll call you JoJo because we know each other so well.
That's great.
Thank you for being here. It's really nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
To me, this music has a little bit more of an edge to it than the stuff I listened to before, and I'm wondering, is that on purpose?
Well, if you listen to like the things I put out when I was 13, it's definitely a little edgier than that.
Should be.
Yeah, and I think that it reflects exactly where I was when I wrote it, and I had just moved to New York, and I was really inspired by the energy of that, and it's a little edgy here, you know.
Was this a personal project for you? I mean, I know all songwriting, when you put out an album like this, an EP like this, it's a baby. But how personal was this to you? Because I know you've come out of a lot of kind of difficult things.
I mean, no one's exempt from weird stuff in life. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I definitely put where I was at in this, and I needed to let go of so much. I was experiencing my independence as a woman. I was experiencing my independence from the major label system for the first time, and I was feeling really conflicted about a lot of those things. And I was like, am I okay? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like, what does this mean? And NGL means I'm just not gonna lie about all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and you know, I'm just finding myself through music.
And some of these themes overlap with your memoir, Over the Influence. New York Times bestseller. I just thought I'd put that in there one more time because it sounds so good, doesn't it?
It does sound good.
Some of the themes overlap, right?
Yeah, they definitely do. A lot of, I would say half this EP I wrote before I started writing my memoir, and I had so much that was unexpressed, so much that I was holding on to in my body and spirit that was really weighing me down and making me feel like I was just underwater. So I have a song like Too Much to Say, for example, because I didn't even know where to begin. And a lot of the themes in Under the Influence are just feeling like I was on somebody else's train, somebody else's time frame. And I didn't, since I started in the industry so young, I didn't develop my full sense of self. And for many years, I fought to try to figure out, what do I even like? What's important to me? Who am I? And I'm sure that will change over time, but through the process of writing the book and releasing it, I feel so much more clear than I've ever felt.
It's like therapy. It's therapeutic.
It's very cathartic, very therapeutic, yeah.
When you came out with the first album, as you point out, it's different from the music now, as you're a different person. You've done so much over the last 20 years or so. You've done TV, you've done Broadway, you've done, I mean, all of these amazing things. I'm wondering, obviously the music is the theme through it all, but I'm wondering what's next? Do you have plans? What's coming up?
Yeah, I'm going out on tour. That's my next exciting thing that I'm looking forward to the most. We start the Too Much to Say tour February 22nd and go all the way through mid-April, where we end in Miami. So starting in Nashville. And I'm really excited. It's been a few years since my last tour, and being on Broadway and getting to play Satine in Moulin Rouge changed my life forever. I think it sharpened me as a singer and as a performer to be in that world where people are performing 8 times a week, and I just feel like the best performers are on Broadway.
That's super intimate. You're right there with the people watching,
and just it's I feel like it gave me a whole new joy. So what I'm interested in next are things that light me up and connecting with people and finding that joy again. Because
so maybe come back to Broadway.
Maybe come back to Broadway.
We'll be looking for you here in New York.
Oh, I love it.
JoJo, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great tour.
Thanks for having me.
The Too Much to Say tour kicks off February 22nd. Finally tonight, as the Chiefs are going for that three-peat, the big game is taking on special meaning for one of the team's coaches who might never have made it to this day if it wasn't for some real incredible resiliency. Jeff Darlington from ESPN has the story of the left-hand man.
During warm-ups before each Chiefs game, the focus is often on Patrick Mahomes. But standing beside him is someone who inspires in his own way.
He just came and started doing it. It wasn't like I asked him to do it. He just saw that I was catching the football, and he took it upon himself. He was like, hey, I'll come catch if you want me to.
Before every game since 2020, Chiefs assistant coach Porter Ellett and Mahomes have followed this same routine.
Being a part of that world, of his competitive world, is really special. Of all the people to catch, it's like, yeah, let's have the one-arm kid catch. Grew up on a farm, central Utah. In the summer, we would go out and check on our sheep and cows and kind of like move them wherever they needed to be moved.
What do you remember about that day?
Typical early morning, go, just take a drive.
My dad had a motorcycle and he would always haul it in the back of the truck. So I was 4 and I begged him, like, hey, can I ride in the back?
We were headed up the mountain. The road was really rough.
I was sitting on the motorcycle and I went to get off. And as I was getting off, we hit a bump and I fell out of the back of the truck.
He hit his head on a rock. It tore all the nerves out of his right shoulder. And he had a brain bleed.
They had to life flight me to Salt Lake. And I was really close to cutting one of the main arteries in my head and bleeding out. But then they did all this testing on my arm and realized I couldn't move it anymore.
I thought, well, why did I let him ride in the back of the truck? All these scenarios, I was thinking I could have avoided that if I'd have just made different decisions.
With his arm no longer functional due to the nerve damage from the accident, Porter's pursuit of a normal childhood proved challenging. Where were you in your mindset at that point?
If I didn't amputate it, I thought that it would cause me to not progress. So I was like, all right, let's get rid of this.
When Porter was 16, doctors amputated his right arm.
I came to the decision that, well, if they're gonna stare, they're gonna point, let's give them a show.
Even with one arm, Porter became an all-state selection in both baseball and basketball as a high schooler.
I used to love the first quarter of basketball games when I hadn't played people, because I don't guard you for a quarter. You put up 12 points and then, all right.
Porter Ellett, 3-point shots on its way. Good.
He was relentless, like shooting a basketball. A lot of kids would spend half an hour a day. Porter'd spend 4.
That's why I love sports, is because they saved me, really.
After high school, Porter enrolled at Brigham Young University, where he got a job doing laundry for the football team and fell in love with his future wife, Carly. The Elletts settled in Salt Lake City, where Porter took a job at Goldman Sachs.
He was at Goldman's for about a year when I realized that this is something I don't know that he can stick out and feel fulfilled in his career. So we were sitting down for dinner one night and I just asked him, what is it that you think about when you have nothing else you need to think about? And it was sports.
How did you meet Porter?
I met him actually through my son-in-law. And my son-in-law goes, man, this guy would be a great coach. He came out and visited one of the games. So I said, bring him over to the house after the game. So he came over and we talked. And I said, all right, if I have an opening, I'll sneak you in here.
He explains to me when I have a job opening, it's to be my assistant. You'll basically be my right-hand man. You'll go like everywhere I go. I cracked the joke after he said right-hand man. I was like, well, are you okay with your right-hand man not having a right hand? And he's like laughing on the other side. He's like, you'll be my left-hand man.
He started from scratch. He started reading books. He'd quiz all the coaches.
He'd get home at midnight, he'd bring me a stack of flashcards, wake me up, and we would go through the stack of flashcards because he wanted to learn the offense.
Nice catch on that. Good route.
Since he was hired in 2017, Porter has progressed from Reed's personal assistant to assistant running backs coach and has been on staff for the Chiefs' last 3 Super Bowl victories.
He already is a great coach, but he's going to be a great coach in this league for a long time. He helps me out a ton every single day.
This kid from this middle of nowhere farm town in Loa, Utah, who suffered a horrible farming accident, only has one arm, is now next to arguably one of the greatest coaches in NFL history.
What makes you most proud of where you are now?
I don't know if I'm really like proud of myself, but I'm proud that I proved everybody who like bet on me right. Coach Reed doesn't have to answer questions about like, why would you ever hire a one-armed kid? Like he never has to answer that question. That's what I'm proud of.
Story of resilience. Jeff Darlington from ESPN. Jeff, thank you for that. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Phil Lipoff. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks for streaming with us.
People do not know how to date. That's why they come to us.
As a matchmaker, we're here to help you get your wings on.
Let's get some people married.